Well, hi folks, welcome back to the channel and welcome back to the plot. I've had a crap day. I've had a really bad day. Just work stress, you know, like really high pressure, stressful day. A lot of calls and just the heat at the moment. The house is just so warm. But the silver lining is that all day, all throughout, I've just been really looking forward to getting out and coming up to the allotment, even in the heat of today. You can see I'm in the shade of the bay tree at the moment, which is most welcome. And I don't really have much of a plan for today's video. I just wanted to kind of bring you with me, show you what I get up to. I do know that there's a lot of harvesting on the cards. These beetroot are a little over. So as you may or may not know, this is my first time growing beetroot. These are my first ever beetroot plants, and I think they've gone on a little bit too long. I know that they get quite woody if you leave them, and you can see this one. This is the beast. This is the biggest one that I've seen, so let's get it up. Whoa, blimey. Yes, I think that might have gone a little too far, but it does look good, doesn't it? Solid as a rock. It's my first time growing beetroot and I'm not that experienced with cooking with it or using it in the kitchen. One thing that I did want to do with some of this is use it in some of my hot sauce, but obviously we're a little bit early. I might have sowed these a little early, so let's get the rest up. And I think what I'm going to do here is only take the huge ones. If there's little dinky ones, they might be struggling a little bit in this heat, but I think it's probably worth leaving them in here a little while longer because they don't store too well once you pull them up, apparently anyway. So I think that's a bit of a better size, more of a golf ball size. That's what you're aiming for. Oh, this one's been very munched. Wow. But I'm sure you can just cut off the bad bits. Oh gosh, yeah, I think these might be a little bigger. Definitely going to be looking up some beetroot recipes. I will of course be looking at pickling some as well, which is a classic way of preserving them. But once you pickle it, it does mean I can't really use it in my hot sauces because of acidity reasons that I'll talk about when I do a hot sauce video at some point in the future, which I'm really looking forward to. There's a few more in here. I think this one's probably ready. So look at that, they're on the harvest table. I'm pretty happy with these. Not bad for the first time, is it? These are chi-oggia. When you cut into them, they look amazing. This is the one with the damage, but most of them seem pretty healthy. Certainly a little on the large side, but that's no big deal. I'm sure, I think the large ones are the ones that I will probably do some pickling with. But the rest of the plot at the moment, it's not looking awful, but it's not looking great. The onion bed is looking pretty good. Some of these have got absolutely huge, and I'm really worried about white rot on the plot, but there's a few that are just starting to fall over, and I'm kind of umming and ahhing. Should I pull up the rest? If there is white rot in here, then it's kind of better to get them up early. So let's pull a few and see how they're looking, shall we? So this is a nervous moment for me. White rot has been a really nasty surprise since I first harvested onions from one of these beds last year. And I was just confused about why all my onions had gone rotten. And there's 3 here that look like the saddest onions. So if any of them are going to have white rot, I think it might be these. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, yep, definitely. Let's look at this last one. Those other 2, yeah, I knew it was bad straight away because they didn't even offer any resistance. This one has got a little bit of resistance and it's got some roots on it, which is good. This one might actually be just fine. These 2, you can see the roots have gone completely rotten, and this one has the telltale actual like white fuzz of white rot. So unsurprising, but my old friend, my nemesis, white rot, is on some of the onions. The good news is most of them do still look pretty healthy, so I'm hoping the crop will be okay. But what it does mean is that it's probably prudent to basically get all of these up now. And it's a little bit of a shame because some of the onions look really good and it would be nice to keep them on, keep them swelling up. There wouldn't be prize winners, but they're looking really good. I've never grown onions anywhere close to this. All of the ones last year were really small, so it seems a little bit premature pulling them up, but I really think it's better than the alternative of leaving them in a couple of weeks longer and, you know, them turning to rot. So let's get them all pulled. So I was just finishing up there and look, look at this. There has been a cabbage white butterfly in this netting since I arrived, just flapping around for about half an hour. How did you get in there? It's so annoying. But yeah, I was just doing this last couple of onions, and actually they are a perfect demonstration of why I think this might have been a good idea. So if you look, these two, they look just about okay on the surface, but if you look at their roots, you can see that's not right. This is healthy root growth. This is what it should look like. Should be a nice kind of root ball on there, and you can see they're just about okay. They're not rotting yet, but I can feel it's a little bit soft under here. And if I left that in the ground another week or two, I think that would really start to get nasty. So I think we've done the right thing by taking these up. The red onions, definitely not ready yet. They might be stalled because of the white rot. They might be getting it quite bad underground, but they're still a bit small to pull, really. Those ones were grown from seed. But let's get the rest up. Lots to go. Another tomato. Those things are popping up everywhere. Do you know, I was just about to start carrying on with the onions, and I saw these beetroot sat over here with all their tops on. And I thought, I might quickly do this first, because I'm not sure if this is the case for beetroot, but a lot of the kind of root crops, I find, if you leave the tops on for very long, all of the energy starts going from the root here into the leaves as they try to sort of panic and regrow. I can't remember what that happened to me, but I had a crop that I left. It might have been carrots, and I left the tops on because they're very aesthetic. They look amazing, but little did I know that it takes all the energy from the part that you actually want to eat. And I know that you can eat these beetroot greens, and I do quite like them in a salad actually, but I have no shortage of salad at the moment. The veg beds at home, the raised bed that I made is doing amazing. We've got loads of chard in there at the moment, which is just great. And here's our beetroot. So there's no shortage, and I think once the beetroot are this old anyway, I don't think those leaves would be too appetizing. Let's carry on with the onions. Well, bloomin' heck, the onions are pretty good, you know? The only ones that had white rot were the ones that we pulled down there and the ones at the top. And the ones at the top, they're fine, really. They've just got a little bit of root damage. But 99% of these are A-okay. I can't believe it. We'll see what happens to the red onions. These are looking strong. They might not like this heat that's coming on now. I think they're a little bit late in. But wow, what a crop. These have done really, really well, and I am over the moon. I don't know, I think I just got lucky with the crop rotation, really. I think the white rot will be in the soil, but maybe it's not spread throughout this bed like it has everywhere else. So I'm really happy. Last year I got about 50% of my onions, and the rest were all completely mouldy. I don't know, maybe I left them in the ground a little bit too long, and you know, taking these up early is what's done the trick. But yeah, I'm over the moon. Should we look at the potatoes next? I'm not sure. Let's pick up the camera and see what we see. So we're just on the way to look at the potatoes, but I've stopped by this nice leek flower, which is huge, it's like the size of my hand. Anyway, I've got a favour to ask. If you enjoy the channel, you probably like the kind of laid back nature, you know. I tend to try and make videos which are pretty chill. They're about relaxing in the garden, especially after a hard day like today. And there's a channel I found recently which really hits the same spot. And they put so much time and effort into their videos. They're really incredible, and they deserve so many more subscribers than they've got. And the channel is A Wild Time with Hannah Tasker. I'll link the channel in the description as well as a few details, but they've got an amazing plot. It really puts mine to shame, and they really know their stuff in terms of both vegetables and flowers. They're growing stuff I've never ever heard of, and I'm learning a lot from that channel already. They tend to do one video a month as well, so if you're like me and you barely have any time to watch YouTube videos, it's quite a nice manageable one to stick the bell on and get the notifications for, because it's just such a great channel. So I really recommend it. Let's look at the potatoes. Now, I could be wrong, but I think my first earlies might be ready to harvest. These have, they've not died back. They are completely non-existent now, the actual plants. The King Edwards as well, they've flowered and they're probably ready to come up. Most of them anyway, but this is, it's not ideal. First earlies don't store quite as well as main crop, and it would have been nice to have been taking these a bit more gradually. But you know how it is when life gets in the way, and we have been making good use of the ones that I've pulled already. But yeah, definitely going to have quite a lot of potatoes to get through. And as well, I'm in flip-flops, which was a mistake, but let's get all of these up and see what the harvest is like, shall we? So the plan was to dig up the whole bed. However, I've got a pretty big old stack of potatoes here. It's not ginormous, but that's definitely going to take us a little while to get through. So I'm going to stop for now because there's a few more in the ground, a few more plants at the end of the bed here. And I'm just going to do a little experiment and see how well they store in the ground. There's actually one. What's this one doing? Oh, that's from one of the ones I've just pulled up. Look, get out of here. So I'm going to get those stored, ready to go. I think I've just thought I can't walk those home. There's no way I'm going to be able to walk those home. So I reckon I'll take those home in the car. And I'll probably take home all the onions as well and leave those outside to cure in the garden in the heat for a little bit. I'll let them dry out and then do the braiding, you know, string them up. So there's the final harvest from today. It's looking pretty good. I cannot believe the onion crop. That is such a nice surprise. And the potatoes are pretty hefty too. That's a pretty decent harvest. I might even give them away when I get home. I'll show you how much they weigh at the moment, because I'm just kind of curious to see. The rest of the plot I'll show you properly in another video, but it's looking okay. You know, it's ticking over at the moment. Been a bit of a running theme recently where one video it's all fine and then the next it's all gone crazy, and luckily it's not too bad at the moment. So there we go, what a day. I knew that as soon as I come up here I would have a smile on my face and it would put the worries of the day out of my mind, and sure enough it has done. The chilies behind me, they're looking pretty good. They could be a little better, but they're looking pretty good, so I'm really happy. Everything is ticking over nicely. And do you know what I've just seen behind me? This water butt. I don't know if you saw it, but back in March I did a whole episode on setting up this water butt, and if you saw it you might have noticed that I set it up over there. And I published the video. Oh, my mouth hurts because I'm smiling so much. And then I came up a few days later and I realised the water will not run out of that bit of the greenhouse. It's all slanted, so it only comes out of here. And I had to move the whole water butt. I spent ages setting it up. and then I just never mentioned it in another video. I completely forgot to mention it, and I always wondered if anyone saw it. So if you did clock that, let me know in the comments. Thank you ever so much for watching. Please do go check out Hannah Tasker's channel. I'll link it in the description below. It's so good. The effort that she puts into the videos is amazing. I really hope you're having a good growing year, and hopefully I'll see you again next time. So happy.